Well, looks like James Harden got his wish. He got his trade to the LA Clippers in a massive Woj bomb that dropped overnight around 2 a.m. Eastern. And it's a massive deal that allows the Clippers to get an extra piece that they needed, and now the 76ers finally get to move out of the whole James Harden drama after a tumultuous summer with him calling GM Daryl Morey a liar, and they used to be quite tight. I mean, remember that Daryl Morey was a guy that went to bat for James Harden countless times, even comparing him and even saying that he was a better scorer than Michael Jordan. It's totally flipped on its head with the whole contract situation, and that was really soured the relationship into what it is today. Let's talk about the compensation of this deal. The LA Clippers are sending Marcus Morris Sr., KJ Martin, Robert Covington, and Nicholas Batum a 2028 first round pick and a pick swap later on. And I think this is very minimal to give up for a guy of James Harden's talent. Now, question is whether he can play to the level of that talent is a big question mark. Now, the Clippers are going to be receiving PJ Tucker as well in this trade, and he's been a little bit long in the tooth. I don't think he's the same guy as he used to be with the Milwaukee Bucks or the Houston Rockets, but still a very viable wing defender that you can use in small ball lineup. Or the amount of investment you had to give up for James Harden, you got to keep Norm Powell, you got to keep Terrence Mann, two guys that I thought were must giveaways to get James Harden, you were able to keep, so that's a massive win for the LA Clippers. And to talk about the Clippers' depth, they are giving up guys on the bottom part of their roster, but I don't think that since they played significant minutes in the Clippers rotation that they'll be truly missed. Yes, they're wing defenders, but the fact that they barely cracked the NBA hardcourt on a consistent basis is something that I don't think the Clippers were even thinking of using. They were tied to numerous trade rumors beforehand, and the fact that you're able to get something in return for guys that barely even play, I think is a big win. Ty Lue, again, has to orchestrate all these parts, right? It's now Kawhi Leonard, PG, newly added James Harden, and then how does Russell Westbrook fit into this equation? These are all aging stars. They're either in their early 30s or mid 30s even, and I think it's a perfect time to go all in at this point. You're banking on hopefully Kawhi can give you 55 to 60 games, PG can give you about 60 to 65 games when healthy, and then Russ is going to be there. He's been a fairly durable player, but it's a matter of whether or not his play will be impacted, because his game is fairly similar to James Harden. They both need the ball, and neither of them really work the greatest off ball. I think James maybe has a little bit more of that spot up ability, so he could work sometimes off ball, but it's a question of now you have to stagger the minutes. I think there'll be very few occasions where we'll see James Harden and Russell Westbrook on the floor at the same time, just because their skill set is so different. It's going to be a lot of your turn, my turn type of stuff, and I don't think that's the most ideal way to utilize the offense. Can the Clippers' health hold up for the marathon season? It remains to be seen. We've known that Kawhi especially has faded out. He's been not totally available, and same thing with Paul George. So it's a big if, but at this point, you're going to have to take a swing, and I think this is the best way to do so. It's very minimal to give up. I don't know how much it moves the needle, because the West, I still think, goes through Denver, and you still have some other teams in that equation that I think are maybe a smidge better than what the LA Clippers are as presently constructed. And after installing James Harden into the lineup, I think the Phoenix Suns are looking better, and the Golden State Warriors are back to a very good start. So right now, I think they're in that 4 or 5 seed conversation, maybe with the LA Lakers, but they still will be a fairly big threat out west. For the Sixers, this was simply addition by subtraction. You're getting rid of the toxicity that James Harden brought to you, and now you get to allow Tyrese Maxey to develop into hopefully being maybe that fringe all-star guard that you see in him. He has looked the part. It's now going to be more responsibility on him, more responsibility on Joel Embiid, and then these other guys now, they can be spot-up shooters, and I think that's a great ideal fit, because Tobias Harris, he has regressed, but he can still be a decent third, fourth option. You have Nicholas Batum, who can defend Morocco as well. Obviously well past their prime, but still viable options that you can use. And now you have some depth compared to just having one guy who is a little bit more offense than defense. If James Harden plays to the standard that the Clippers expect him to be this year, I do expect him to at least offer James Harden a contract with around the $30 to $35 million range on a yearly salary basis. Maybe the marriage can work long term, but if it doesn't, they can simply just let him walk and try to reset the roster in 2024.